Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Very Biased Opinions, and it is time to cover the FA Cup third round. And without further gilding the lily, hot dogging, or anything else ridiculous, let's go straight into the first game.
Aston Villa versus Liverpool.
Ian, we start with a cracker of a game.
How excited are you to do every game, Thomas? Every game in FA Cup round 3. I don't want to hear any bitching, any moaning. We're doing this full lever. 20 minutes on every team, 40 minutes on Man United at the end.
Good. I was hoping I'd get that long to talk about them.
Okay, ready to give you a score?
Yeah.
No, mate.
The last time these teams met, Villa won 7-1.
They did. Was it 7-1 or 7-2?
It was 7-1, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Maybe I'm giving Liverpool a fantasy second goal. Maybe I don't know. Whatever it was a beating.
Yeah, absolutely. Just smacked them about. 7-2. You're right. It was 7-2. Interestingly, the time before that they met was the EFL quarter-final where Villa won 5-0. So Villa love to score on this Liverpool team. That's what they do.
What they do. It seems to be, don't they? Liverpool, I didn't realise that they were Villa's bunny. But Thomas, I think we're missing the elephant in the room. Where is this game taking place?
Well, I'm not sure because a good member of the public has continually criticized our geography on where Aston Villa are based, and I still can't come to grips with it because I thought they were based around Aberystwyth.
It's as good a place as any. But going back to this game, obviously the biggest thing about FA Cup, we say it all the time, you don't know who's going to be rested, you don't know what sides are going to be playing. You imagine there will be a lot of Premier League managers taking the opportunity to rest a lot of players. So I actually think this could be a good chance for Villa. But there's no replays as well. These games go straight to extra time, not extra time penalties. So I have to still back Liverpool. I think they'll find a way. I think Liverpool will win. My classic Liverpool scoreline 2-1.
Yeah, I think Villa are going to win 3-0.
Thomas, watch out! The Eagles are coming.
Really?
They are. They're back. We're going to Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Crystal Palace.
Ah!
Yes. Is that a wolf?
Yes. Ah! a baby wolf crying.
Start this video.
So many games. Wait, we can't even cover this match for as long as we just cover the last match. Wolves have looked like a real Jekyll and Hyde since they lost Jimenez. One game they're really good, the next game they're not so great. The hard luck loss against Man United with a goal in the final minute, which is off a deflection. Palace got a pretty credible 1-1 draw in their last game. Obviously, we haven't seen the weekend Premier League matches. We've got to film this before that happens. So, thoughts on this?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think that you'll see fringe players coming in, and both these sides don't score a ton of goals, especially Wolves at the moment. But the Wolves are also quite hard to score against. So I can see this one going all the way to penalties. I think this one will be 0-0, and I think Palace will win it on penalties.
I'm going to go 1-0, Podence goal, Wolves to win.
Do love a bit of Podence.
Good old Daniel. Boreham versus Millwall.
This is the start of the segment that I love, because this is the start where Tom starts taking pot shots at where these clubs are, what league they're in.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure Boreham are based just outside London, and that they are in the North Conference?
They're in the conference.
Hey, I got close. Millwall are in the Championship and having a really pretty boring year. Yeah. They are neither scoring goals nor conceding goals. They are
This is one of those ones where Boreham you get to the third round, they've done a great job to get there, and you think, oh, great, let's get a really exciting side. And you can get some good sides in the Championship, like, you know, like an old name like a Forest or something like that. But then you draw Millwall, and it's like, great. Not that exciting.
Sign us up for this.
Not that exciting, we're probably going to lose. Yeah, Millwall are doing all right under Gary Rowett. They flirted with the playoffs last season. They're probably mid-table this time around. I think it'll be a 2-0 Millwall win.
Millwall have been pretty boring in the Championship. They're down in 16th, only just over Coventry, and they're basically just scoring and conceding a goal a game at this point. So I think they're going to win this. I don't think it'll be a classic. I think Boreham will represent themselves really well, but Millwall to win 1-0.
Everton versus Rotherham United.
In normal years, I would say this is a classic match for Everton to fall over flat on their face and for Rotherham to get a result. But Rotherham are having a really tough time in the Championship right now. They are in the relegation zone. They're only 1 point above Wycombe Wanderers, who have been absolutely dreadful in the league. And I'm pretty sure they lost to Wycombe Wanderers this last week, or was it draw? I don't know. I don't know results of football matches. I don't pay enough attention. But I think Everton will win this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Everton will win it. Yeah, Rotherham, perennial yo-yo club between Championship and League One. Everton have been too strong. I think Ancelotti will see it as a good chance to go deep and get a trophy. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 Everton win. I'm
going to go for 3-0. Luton Town versus Reading.
Yeah, the first of a few Championship against Championship ties coming up. Luton. Both these sides probably overachieving, although I did think Luton would be a lot better in the Championship this year rather than just avoiding relegation on the last day. Nathan Jones continues to punch above his weight with this side, and they're going along nicely at mid-table. But Reading, I think, have surprised a lot of people by being in the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
It's a coin flip, this one, though, isn't it? I haven't got a clue.
Well, I think Reading will win because they're higher in the table, but more because they're scoring a lot more goals than Luton. I think it's going to end 2-1 to Reading.
I'm going to go for a Luton win just because nobody enjoys going to Kenilworth Road, even if there's fans or no fans. I'm going to go for a Luton 2-1 win.
Oh, Ian, it's another All Championship roundup because it's Norwich City playing host to Coventry City.
Well, I'll leave Coventry. I'll leave that to you to wax lyrical about them, seeing as you've got some connection from your dad supporting them. Norwich have been obviously doing well. We expected them to do well in the Championship this season. They are top of the league, but they've had a couple of sticky results in the last couple of games. They've had a loss and a draw, but they're still top by 3 points. I would expect them to win this game. I don't think it's going to be easy because Cov have been excellent so far, or they've certainly improved a lot over the last few weeks. I'm going to go for a Norwich win. I think Norwich will win by 2-0.
I think the toughest thing here is to know which Coventry team is going to be put out because Mark Robins is a good manager. How much he values the third round of this cup when they basically know that they're in a relegation fight for most of the season is a pretty good question to ask, and one we won't have an answer to until the game. But Cov now sits something like, 7 points above the relegation zone. I think they're going to play basically their B team. I'd be impressed if Matt Gooden played, Maxime Biamou. I think Norwich will win this as well. I don't think it's going to be a classic, though. 1-0 to Norwich City.
Nottingham Forest versus Cardiff City.
Ian, I'm already sick of the Championship. I'm sick of it. Why don't we just do Championship predictions from now on?
Because you'd be even more sick of it. You'd do it for 2 weeks, then you wouldn't want to do it anymore.
Cardiff are on an absolute horrendous run of form. They've lost 4 of the last 5. They are plummeting down the table. It is hard to think they'll win this, but then you look at Nottingham Forest, who
they've been shocking, haven't they? They were shocking to start the season. They're the draw kings, drawing 3 of the last 4 games, but they've been more solid. I wouldn't be shocked if this one again is a draw, goes all the way to penalties. I'm going to be a home team backer. I think Forest will edge it 1-0.
I'm going to go 0-0 with a Forest penalty shootout victory.
Here we are, Tom. Bit of stomach shift, a bit of a change. Chorley versus Derby County. They play in the National League North, so the one below the conference.
And I believe that they will lose this match to Wayne Rooney's Derby, who have looked a lot better recently. And I think they will lose this game 3-0.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, again, this is going to sound annoying because I hate going on about it, but these are the ones where you really... It's such a shame Chorley won't have any fans for this one. It'd be great for their fans to, go and see, because it's good little catchment area. They'd probably get a lot of fans coming over from Bolton, that sort of area as well, because it's quite close to there. And chance to see a good Championship side with Rooney in charge. It would be a full house. I also think Derby are too strong. I think that it'll be a 2-0 win for Derby County.
I think for Wayne Rooney, especially at the beginning of his management career, and with Derby having such a bad year, a couple wins in the cup, getting to the 5th round, maybe the quarterfinals, would do wonders for the team's confidence and for Wayne's confidence. So I think they'll go for it in this game.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if they rung the changes.
There's no reason not to, really. I mean, I know they're struggling at the end of the bottom of the Championship, but you would think they should be too strong to be down there for the whole season.
Yeah. Blackburn Rovers versus Doncaster Rovers.
This should be a tight game. Obviously, a side that's pretty steady in the Championship against a side that pretty steady to good in League One. I think the biggest problem with Doncaster is they haven't played a game for bloody ages, so the players all and Nick, and that could be a factor in this one. And I think it should be a good game. I don't see it being a lot of goals, but I think that certainly Doncaster will more than hold their own against this Blackburn side, and I think that Blackburn will just edge it 2-1.
It's time for the underdogs to get a victory here. Doncaster Rovers 1, Blackburn Rovers 0.
I'm saving my underdog story for this next one. Blackpool versus Western Bromwich Albion.
I mean, this is going to be quite an interesting game. What team is Big Sam going to put out? Is he really think that they can survive the relegation battle they're in? If he does, he probably should put out a second-string side here. But do you want to lose to League One Blackpool, who are mid-table and in a different form?
I honestly don't think he cares. I honestly don't think he gives two craps about the FA Cup this time around. As much as he'll say it, I think he'll put a really weakened side out, and if they go out, he'll just wash his hands of it and move back to Premier League. And whereas, to be honest, it makes no difference. If they were to play a full-strength side and go through, it would make no difference to whether they stay up or not. So I don't know why they would target it, other than the fact to be scared of fatigue and injuries. So I think this is a great opportunity for Blackpool. We know they're a decent side. They're a bit up and down, a bit inconsistent, but I reckon this is a great opportunity for them to cause an upset. And I'm actually going to go for a Blackpool win against an under-strength West Brom side. I think they're going to win by 2-1.
I'm going to go by 1-0. I just think Blackpool, when they do flood forward, are actually quite creative, and this West Brom side are just so easily picked off. They almost pick themselves off.
It's just the thing. It's like if Blackpool get ahead of steam and get ahead in the game, West Brom there'll be definitely a case of them just feeling sorry for themselves and going through the motions.
Yeah.
Which is going to sound quite similar to this one. Bristol Rovers versus Sheffield United.
You know, Ian, I have to be honest, I think this is where Sheffield United get their first win of the season. We joke about them, and I've said we can't talk about them in the Premier League anymore because there's no point, because they lose every game. But every game they lose is tight. It's not like they're not creating some chances. They just really are on such low confidence now. They never score when they get the opportunity. And I think they'll be too strong for Bristol Rovers side, who I think are in pretty poor form in League One.
I think they've been all right. The biggest problem for Rovers is they haven't played in a couple of games. Their games called off, and so I think they haven't played a lot. Before that, they've done all right with Tisdale. He sort of improved them a little bit. Yeah, but they're still in the lower half of the league because they had such a poor start. But it's a really important game for Wilder. You would think if they do lose and go out to Bristol Rovers, if it's not him gone out of the job already, you'd think he's absolutely got to be gone at this stage. But maybe they're going to keep him. Who knows? Maybe they're just going to try and keep the powder dry and see if they can get out of the Championship within the next season. But I think that Sheffield United will win it. I think they'll win 1-0.
I think we're going to see the lesser seen 2 Sheffield United goals, 2-0.
Wow, that means if they score 2 in that game, that means they won't be able to score for the next 10.
2 games.
Burnley versus Tom's beloved Milton Keynes Dons.
I cannot wait to see MK Dons play their possession-based style, and Burnley to just sit there and be like, cool, mate. We do this against City, we do this against Liverpool, we can do this all day. Possible around we stolen it. Ashley Barnes has scored. Enough said. MK Dons stand no chance in this game. 2-0 to the Burnley, because they can't do squad rotation because they only have 11 players.
This is massively being disrespectful to Burnley, but it's so weird to see a side that plays the better football being the League One side as opposed to the Premier League side, whose players probably get 2 or 3 times paid better. But yeah, I would imagine that Burnley would come through this MK Dons test. If it was even if it was away, I'd still be back in Burnley. Yeah, Burnley win 2-0. Yeah,
I don't think Sean Dyche sets teams out to. He's a bit like Wilder. I don't think he's ever put a team out to lose. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have the players.
I know what you mean.
Anyway.
I know that sounds not that any man does, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Exeter City versus Sheffield Wednesday.
There's potential for another shock in this one as well. Exeter are going well in League Two, and Sheffield Wednesday. Oh God, a bit of a nightmare for them this season, isn't it? Really. I mean, fans must be absolutely sick of everything that goes on. I mean, they got rid of Gary Monk seemingly for doing too good of a job. They got rid of Tony Pulis for seemingly doing too solid of a job, and then they've come up with some feeble excuse about him phoning in sick. And this is serious. The owners come out and said that Tony Pulis was trying to feign an illness and get out of working, and they're saying he's one of the most unprofessional men he's ever worked with. It really
That's the opposite of what everyone else says about Tony Pulis.
Despite that, Wednesday, take out the points deduction, they should be mid-table. So they should be way ahead of where they are. And
they're on decent form now as well. They've won 2 of the last 3. They haven't lost in 3 games. You feel like they might have slightly turned a corner for at least a couple games.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they would take their foot off the gas for this one against Exeter. I think it'll be tough, but I'm going to say Wednesday will win. I think Wednesday will win 2-0.
I think they're going to win 3-1. Goals, Ian. There's got to be some goals at some point.
Goals.
Oldham Athletic versus AFC Bournemouth.
Oldham Athletic, very much a mid-table, run-of-the-mill League Two side with very up and down form against Bournemouth, who I would say they're still obviously doing really well in the Championship, but not as great as maybe I would have expected them to be. But they're going through some transition. I still think Bournemouth will win. They probably have a really good cup run now. Eddie Howe's gone, won't they? They'll get to the semi-final or something like that. But Bournemouth, I think 3-1 win.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth, they were on a really good run of form, then they drew and lost a game, and unfortunately, the way the Championship's running up, everyone is just winning everything all the time. Brentford have won 4 of the last 5, Swansea have won 3 of the last 5, Norwich have won 3 of the last 5, and there's not a lot of losses around that either. So they've dropped off the pace, but they're only 6 points below with a game in hand, so they win that. They're only 3 points below Norwich City. I think they're looking really strong this year, and I don't know why they'd play a reserve side against Oldham, so I think they'll win this. And knowing Bournemouth, it's going to be a blowout, so 4-0.
The Queen's own Park Rangers against Fulham Football Club.
Is this a rivalry? Is there a rivalry here?
Yeah, I mean, it's London derby, isn't it? I mean, Fulham are South London, QPR a bit more, not South, couldn't pinpoint them, but West London, I think, QPR.
Yeah, QPR are really not on form in any way. They've only picked up 3 points of the last 15 available. They've shipped 30 goals already this season. They're languishing 4 points above the relegation zone. They've had a really tough year, Ian.
All I'm going to say, this is it. I'm not even going to comment on Fulham. So Fulham fans, not that there will be any watching this, you're going out to a Rob Dickie brace. That's right. Ex-Oxford United's Rob Dickie going to get a couple of goals. Going to be QPR 2, Fulham 0.
Just to clarify, we're not biased in any way. Fulham 1, QPR 0.
Stevenage versus Swansea City. This one has to be a Swansea City win. I don't actually know how Stevenage have got to the 3rd round. Really well done for them, because everything seems to be a disaster for the last couple of seasons in terms of league football for Stevenage. And unfortunately, it does look like they are going to be going down. We did predict that they would struggle. I think we had them finishing bottom. They should have really gone down last year. They really shouldn't have, and they got away with it. But done well to get to round 3. This is where the journey ends. Swansea they'll be way too strong for them. They're going great guns in the Championship. And the Swans will win 3-0.
So Swansea have the best defence in the Championship. They're coming up against a team that's only managed 13 goals in almost 20 matches. I can't see Stevenage getting anything out of this, even if they try as hard as they can. Swansea 2, Stevenage 0.
Stoke City versus Leicester City.
Is Tony Pulis still in charge of Stoke?
No, I think it's Mark Hughes.
Okay.
Is Martin O'Neill still in charge of Leicester?
Yes. He actually won the league with them a couple of years ago. So Stoke have become, who they are, Stoke. They've drawn 4 of the last 5 in the Championship to drop just out of the promotion places, but they're having a pretty good year. And I think they're going to be too strong. What am I talking about? I can't do it with a straight face. Leicester City are going to win this game. Leicester City are going to win 3-0.
I'm not sure on this one. I actually think Stoke might win this. I think this one could be one that goes to extra time and Stoke win it either on penalties or in extra time. They've gone, as you right to say, they've gone back to being Stoke. They've gone back to being hard to beat, tough to play against, and especially at home. Leicester, we've seen that the second string players can not be as good and they don't play with the same energy. So I'm just going to go for a little bit of a shock here. I think Leicester will bow out here. I think it'll be a Stoke 2-1 win in extra time.
Ian, it's a cracker of a game because the Chairboys, Wycombe Wanderers, host PNE Preston North End.
Wycombe have done well to get to this round, haven't they?
Yeah, genuinely, for the year they're having, they've done fantastically.
You're such an idiot. Championship club starting round 3.
Oh no!
I got him with that one. Yeah. So this season, FA Cup. I mean, Wycombe Wanderers, you expected them to struggle. So when you see them in the relegation zone at the halfway point, it's not a surprise to see them bottom of the league. But they are in with a shout. They're not cut adrift. They're only 4 points away from safety at the time of recording this video. It's all going to be about whether they can stay up in the Championship. The FA Cup is really not important to them. Doesn't mean they can't have a run, but I do think Preston will be too strong for them in this one. Although no team seems to... Credit to Wycombe, no team seems to give them a hammering anymore. No. It's very rare. So I think that Preston will win 1-0.
Most of Wycombe's goal difference came from that first 5 or 6 matches of the year where they seem to shit just 4 or 5 goals a game. I think this game's going to be incredibly boring. I'm going 0-0 with a Wycombe Wanderers penalty victory.
Oh, get in there, Chairboys. Okay, here we go. Now we're talking. Arsenal versus Newcastle United.
See, there'd be nothing more Arsenal than to come up in this game on a good run of 4. Maybe they won on the weekend, maybe they didn't, who cares? But, they've won a couple matches, everything's been sorted out, they're getting rid of players, that positivity's back, and then they're going to fall on their face against Newcastle. Steve Bruce's side are going to line 10 men up behind the ball, a goalkeeper, a bus, and the old man and his dog. They're going to hold out for about 80 minutes. They're going to break forward. Almiron's going to score. Arsenal 0. Newcastle United 1.
Well, I know that, at the time of recording this, the last time we saw Newcastle was that game they had against Liverpool. And I know they had to do a lot of defending and Cal Darlow kept them in it. But at least they actually showed some attacking intent. They actually showed that they had a game plan and they could go forward. And if they could do that in more games, I think more Newcastle fans would get off Steve Bruce's back and be a bit more behind the side. Because some of the games where they're just turgid and they just have no attacking intent is just shocking. But I do think... go on.
Well, I was just saying, I think playing Joe Linton as more of a left winger than a striker is really helpful, because if you're not deciding, right, he's a £40 million player, he's got to score goals, we've got to have him in the middle, it's not what he does. And we now know it's not what he does. So stop doing it, play him off Callum Wilson, and let Callum Wilson be that focal point that you can get the ball out to. And he's rapid. And it worked for them. It worked against Liverpool. They challenged him a lot. It was the best Newcastle performance of the year, I think.
Yeah, well, certainly, I'll tell you, it's a couple of good games at the start of the season, but the best we've seen in a long, long time. But Arsenal are improving, they are getting better, and I would imagine that they will win this game, because I think Arteta won't rest many players. I think he'll play a pretty full-strength side. They are defending champions, remember, after all. And I'm going for a 3-1 Gooners win. Brentford
versus Middlesbrough.
Conflict in styles, Thomas. Neil Warnock up against Thomas Frank. But it should be an interesting game. Both sides doing pretty well. Brentford have just been on a long unbeaten run now, and they've turned a lot of their draws into wins. I think they had a good win against Bournemouth pretty recently as well. Second in the league. Going as strong as we thought they would do. Middlesbrough performing much better, though, than I thought they would do at the start of the season. They got rid of that Woodgate experiment and got a proper manager in.
Yeah, I think the Woodgate thing, it felt destined to fail from the beginning. I don't think we even had them mid-table, and credit to them, they're only 4 points off the promotion places now. They've had a really solid defense, especially recently. They are not shipping goals. It's going to be a good game. I think this one could be a draw, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Whoa, now who's going to win it on penalties then?
Well, I always, whenever the underdog gets a draw, I always think they're going to win in penalties. So 1-1 draw with Middlesbrough winning it.
Oh, I've got too much ex-Oxford United players in Brentford for me to say, and Tarek Fosu did get the winner against Bournemouth as well, I think. So I'm going to go for another Brentford win. I think Shandon might be injured at the moment. I haven't seen him playing for a while, but Tarek Fosu to get the winner, and Brentford to win by 2-1.
Is anyone ever surprised when Baptiste gets injured? It does feel like a real part of his game is being out for half the season every year. But he's magic when he's on the pitch.
He enjoys getting paid to be injured.
I wish we could do that. Huddersfield Town versus Plymouth Green Army Argyle.
Well, Tom, I'm going to leave you to talk about Huddersfield. Is that all right? Because I know you like them more than Plymouth. Come on, then. Go on, tell me how much you hate Huddersfield, Tom. I think the fans
Huddersfield are a shit show of a club. They've got really, really poor management. They are bang average this year in the championship. They're lucky to still be in the championship after the way they started and what they've done to their managers. They are scum, and I want nothing to do with them because Plymouth Argyle, who are near the relegation zone in the League One, are going to come off this ridiculous run of 3 losses in their last 5 and dropping points to win. They're going to win, Ian, away from home against Huddersfield 2-0 to heap further misery on that awful place.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Plymouth are a decent side, and I don't think they should be down the bottom in League One. From what I've seen, they should be comfortably a mid-table side. But Huddersfield, like, mid-table in the Championship, Huddersfield fans, honestly, that is where you are. That is your level, right? You had a couple of seasons where you punched above your weight and you rode nicely in the Premier League, and now it's all fell apart, and you had the stupidness of getting rid of the Cowley brothers, and now you're just pretty solid again, back to where your club kind of feels like it fits. Middle of the table in the Championship, and you'll be too strong for Plymouth. I think you'll win 2-0.
They're a League 2 side. Don't do this. Don't pick them up like this. They don't need this.
Southampton versus Shrewsbury Town.
Ian, I genuinely wish one of us could go and watch this because I think Shrewsbury Town are just going to be completely overrun by the Southampton side. I don't think Ralph Hasenhüttl knows how to tell his teams not to run their absolute socks off. And I don't think a League One side like Shrewsbury will have any idea how to handle that. What do you think?
If any side could do it, it probably would be Shrewsbury because they're arguably the form side in League One. They've been getting some great results and they've been keeping a lot of clean sheets. So it'll be a good test for them. I agree with you though. Southampton will be way too strong. The Premiership quality will just shine out, and I think Saints will win 3-0.
I don't know if Nathan Redmond is injured or not, but I think this is one of the few games in world football where he can actually score a goal. I think Southampton will run out 3-0 winners.
So harsh on Nathan Redmond. Barnsley, no, you don't get a rebuttal. Barnsley versus Tranmere Rovers.
So the third best club in Liverpool travel to Barnsley, wherever that is. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the deep south of England, probably near Coventry. I'm done with the geography jokes. Ian, give me some facts on both these sides.
Well, I must say Barnsley are doing incredibly well in the Championship. They survived by the skin of their teeth in the Championship last season when everybody predicted they'd go down, and they're 8th currently, only 3 points off the playoffs. They
really good run of form.
The last 5 games. They really are the surprise package for me in the Championship this year. Tranmere not doing as well as I thought they would do. I thought they'd be in a much more stronger position, challenging for promotion. They're floundering a bit in mid-table. I guess losing Mickey Mellon really hasn't really gone against them. I think he was a great manager for them. Barnsley win all day long. I'm going to go big. I think it'll be a 4-1 win.
3-0. Bristol City versus Pompey.
It's a chance for a shock, though, isn't it? You'd think.
Yeah, for sure. Is
it that much of a shock if Pompey beat Bristol City?
How have Bristol been in the Championship this year?
All right, they've been in shocking form, but they've had their, you feel like they've had their days where they were challenging for the promotion and in the playoffs over the last couple of seasons, and it's a bit of a rebuild job there at the moment, I feel.
Yeah, I don't think we had them doing much better than this, to be fair, when we did our preseason predictions. Portsmouth have been really good recently, and one reason you think they can win this game is the fact that they have an airtight defence. It's the best defence in League One. Actually, it's not. Sunderland's defence is somehow better. It's the second best defence in League One. But they're right there. They're only 3 points behind. Don't even talk about Oxford's defence. It's just cruel. They're only 3 points behind the top of the table, and let's be honest, Portsmouth have been a Championship side playing in League One for about 4 years now. And you think this is the sort of match where they can compete. Let's go for a shock, Ian. 1-0 to Portsmouth.
I'm all over that shock as well. I think it'll be Portsmouth winning it in extra time. 2-1 win to Pompey.
Ian, it's time for another shock, because Chelsea host Morecambe.
It isn't a shock. Tom, if Chelsea beat Morecambe, that's not a shock.
It is to me.
Great job by Morecambe getting to round 3 and rewarded with a fantastic tie against Chelsea. Again, I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm thinking about fans and all that stuff. But great opportunity for the players to play at Stamford Bridge against a Premier League side. it doesn't matter which combination of players Frank Lampard picks, so because Chelsea will be too strong for them. It'll be a 3-0 win for Chelsea, but a nice journey for Morecambe.
I think it's going to be 2-0, and I think it's going to be pretty turgid, if I'm being totally honest. I feel like it's going to be one of those FA Cup ties that they get an early goal or two, and then Chelsea are just like, cool, keep ball time.
An all League Two clash, Cheltenham Town versus Mansfield Town.
Who manages Mansfield, Ian?
It is the guy that you thought was... It's the guy that you thought was a free agent that could go in and manage Burton Albion, Tom. It is Nigel Clough, the man who was trying to manage every Nottinghamshire club before he retires.
And they're coming up against the Cheltenham Town side, who are where in the league? Oh, yep, they're in 4th. So if you look at the table, you would assume Cheltenham are going to win this game.
You would think it's Cheltenham all day long. Mansfield, one of the richest clubs in League Two. I don't know if that still is the case, because they've literally been talking about how they've got a great budget and how they're going to win League Two for years now, and they always find ways to mess it up. And even this year, they look like they're in real trouble down the bottom of the league. So Cloughie's got a lot of work to do there to turn it around. Cheltenham, we thought they'd do well because they did well last season. They're definitely carrying that on, although their form's been atrocious as of late. Yeah. But I do think that it will be a win for the Robins, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. No, 2-0 win for Cheltenham. Mansfield
Town fans, let us know what you think. Let us know how Cloughie's doing. He is a fantastic manager when he's at Burton Albion, so, I'm really hoping that things come through for you. I got a 1-1 draw with Mansfield Town winning it on penalties.
Time for a shock. Creepy Crawley versus Leeds United.
Creepy Crawley. It's quite good. So Ian, Crawley Town are just outside the playoff places on goal difference in the League Two, and Leeds are free scoring insanity in the Premier League. Already scored 30 goals this year. But Ian, how many goals have they conceded this year?
30. Conceded a lot, but they've had 2 clean sheets in a row, haven't they? Recently, so they've got a lot better in that regard. After shipping 6 against Man United, so Bielsa will be happy with that. They're just a delight. They're just a fucking great side.
I mean, I just want to point this out, right? They have the 3rd most effective attack. The only 2 teams that scored more are United and Liverpool, and they have the worst defense in the league outside of West Brom.
Yeah, the main injuries they've had have been in defence as well. But yeah, they've been. Well, I say it doesn't really matter because they've been exceptional when everyone's enjoyed watching them play. Crawley, I must say, to give them credit, done well again to get to round 3. Great tie against Leeds. They are overperforming. I didn't think they'd be up this high in League Two, so they're doing a really good job. Definitely got a chance of getting in the playoffs. You'd be a fool to back against them, though. Back against Leeds.
Yeah.
It's going to be, well, pick a number, isn't it, really? I reckon Leeds will win 4-0.
I'm going 5-1. They're going to concede. They love to concede. It's what Areola does. Man City versus Birmingham City.
What do we reckon? 1-0 Man City?
Seriously, though, they can't score more than 1 or 2 goals a game, can they? It's against their religion now to do that.
Yeah, this feels like be cut and dry, run-of-the-mill. City, 70% of the game, but just can't get that second goal. Birmingham will get a late chance, probably miss it. But Birmingham are struggling. They've got no chance.
They're poor right now. They're really poor right now. They've lost 4 of the last 5. Shipping goals. They just don't look good.
They don't look good. But only there's another side in Birmingham people could support.
Swansea? 2-0 Man City.
Yeah, I'm going to copy your score for the first time, I think. 2-0 Man City.
It's time for the tie of the round. Because Marine host Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, definitely the most... If you talk about romance of the cup, this is the one, isn't it? Marine up against Tottenham Hotspur. Again, absolutely brilliant for them to get to the 3rd round and rewarded with a really great tie against Jose and Spurs. I feel Jose will play a good side against them as well. I feel he respects the cup, doesn't he? And he hasn't got a lot of faith in his Spurs backup.
Let's put it this way, Jose and Carlo Ancelotti's main mandates are win a trophy. Win a trophy somewhere, just do it. Give us a trophy. That's why you're here. And this is what he does well at. He'll play a strong side. I actually think it's going to end 4-0 to Spurs, but I think it's going to be one of those games where Marine sit back and soak up a ton of the pressure. But when you can bring like Lucas Moura and Steven Bergwijn and Gareth Bale and all these players off the bench, they're just going to be knackered by the end of it, and I think they'll lose 4-0.
Oh, yeah, 1-0 heading into like the 80th minute, and then Spurs will late goals. Yeah, I can see something similar to that. Semper Fudge for the Marines. I'm going to go 3-0 Tottenham.
Newport County hosts Brighton and Hove and Albion.
Thomas, this is a great opportunity for our beloved Newport, isn't it? Newport County, who are top of League Two, coming up against the most turgid sides you'd ever want to watch. Brighton.
I'm serious. How much do you see a shock here? Because I could easily see a shock in this match. I mean, Brighton offer nothing going forward right now. Whenever one of their players bumps forward, everyone else seems to run backwards or like kind of like turn and look at the manager and be like, Newport County, I think we had them near the playoffs or in the playoffs in our preseason predictions. We really liked them. Obviously, we've seen them play before. We really like their style. Not on the greatest run of form, but they're still leading the league by a point right now. And they've got a game in hand. So I am going to go for a shock. And I'm not even going to go with like a close shock. I think Newport County are going to win this 2-0.
No, I think Brighton will come through. I think it'll be a 2-1 win for Brighton, and there'll be one man scoring the winner. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
Stockport County versus West Ham United.
Stockport County their fans have been through it over the past 10 or 15 years. I think they went out of existence and had to reform. They finally got back up to conference level for a side that was in league football for a long time. They're doing all right in the conference as well. So they're in a rebuild. It's nice for them to get a good game out against West Ham side, who I can't see a shock, but I think it'll be close.
I mean, I'm gonna get my score and then I'll talk about it. I think West Ham are gonna win 2-1. West Ham are one of those teams that never perform that well in the cup. They always seem to fall on their own banana skin. They always seem to be like, oh, we'll play Fornals, Haller, and this other 12-year-old kid in a match like this, and they realize that none of them have a touch and none of them can lead the line, and they look aimless. That's kind of what I see happening here. I think Stockport will give a really good account of themselves, but West Ham have players like Jared Bowen to come off the bench and win it for him.
Well, Thomas, as these games, we're not competing. This is purely for fun. Let's go for something special. Let's go for a 1-1 draw, and let's go for the Hatters, Stockport County, to win in the shootout. Just had a major shock in the FA Cup, according to me. Are we going to see another major shock as we finally get to the top of the mountain? Finally, we get to the main event.
Manchester United versus Watford Football Club.
It feels in my mind this will be quite a easy win for Manchester United. Although Watford have got their new manager in now and always seem to perform better when a new boss comes in, even though that's like the 10th, 12th, 11th, 13th time that's happened in the last year.
It always works. It's a rule.
But to tell you more about it, to tell you more about Manchester United's quest for a quadruple, is our resident expert Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
Yes, so Man United's quest to win a trophy continues against a Watford side that pretty much are the same as they were when they were in the league. Not a lot of players have left. Troy Deeney is still there. And I think this is going to actually be quite a tough match for Man United. I think they'd have liked a team slightly lower down, slightly less physicality, with slightly less probably international players that know how to kind of set up shop and defend. United looked tired and exhausted against a really dedicated Wolves outfit, which obviously is a really good team, but that's the last match we watched. It took a deflected goal for them to win it. Bruno Fernandes looking a bit tired. Is Ole going to ring the changes in this? Will he allow Paul Pogba to actually play up the pitch, or is he going to be a centre defensive midfielder, or is he going to get dropped?
Will we see newly signed contract Jesse Lingard get a run out?
Does he actually sign a new contract?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I can't understand that one either.
I think he'll ring the changes, but he doesn't seem willing to play without Bruno Fernandes in the team. I think Dean Henderson will get a run out. I think United will win this, but I think Watford will score first, as United love to allow happen. I think United will run out 3-1 winners.
Yeah, I just can't see a way Watford do win the game, to me. I know it'll be tough. I know Man United can struggle when they play at home and teams set up to defend, but I think that even if they go a goal down, I think that'll just make Man United angry and it'll bring them out of their shell and they'll play some really good football. So I don't need to put my Man United hat on. I think this will be quite a comfortable win for Man United, and I think they'll win 3-1.
No, copying my score again. Two copied scores in the last 4 games.
You are the authority on Man U. I would do well to listen to you.
Listen to me. I am a savant. A savant! Everybody, thank you for watching. All that's left for us to do is for us to give you our sincere thanks, to ask you to check out the cards in the end screen, to go look at the links down below. We are going to try and do more live streams from now on. Let us know in the comments if that's something you want, if you guys are interested in that. We're putting a huge amount of effort into the FA Cup, and it is exhausting. Please give us your predictions below, at least about your favorite club. Get in touch, check out our website, do all the clicking, do all the liking. Ian, have I left out anything?
No, I was just say on the comments, let's flood the comments. No matter who you're from, tell us which club you support. Tell us what your scores are going to be. Tell us why you think we're right and why you think we're going to be wrong. Yeah, I second the thanks that you've given, Thomas.
Muchas gracias.